Today I'm back with a new airdrop farming update video with a lot of topics, a few airdrops you can claim, a few infos you want to get if you do airdrop farming. So let's dive right into it. Yesterday I already made a video about the Taiko airdrop, which you can now claim. If you were grinding on the testnet, did their social campaigns like for example Sealy and Galaxy, you potentially qualified for an allocation, which you can now collect. And if you were also active on Loopring, you should also check if you get an additional allocation over here. The token is currently trading at roughly $2.90, made a big move today, went up over 30%. And that's why I decided, despite what I said in yesterday's video, that I will sell my few Taiko tokens because I think that's a very good price and will potentially pick them up later on with those USDC or use those USDC to farm for their mainnet campaign, where we can get an additional 10% of the overall Taiko token supply. Next up on today's list is Blast Off. They launched their token a few days ago, and if you were active, for example, in their Galaxy and Sealy campaigns, you should have gotten an allocation, which is now for 25% claimable, and the other 75% are vested over time. There is a 7-day cliff, so you want to check your allocation over here as well. Token is currently trading at $1.30. Market cap is just sitting below $1 million, so a very small project as of right now. Then we want to continue with Menta and Aperture Finance because you now get an additional token allocation. Not sure if I talked about the Aperture airdrop here on my channel yet. So you want to jump over to the airdrop dashboard, and even if you don't see any allocation, you just want to click on claim, because for me it then showed an allocation here, in this case 304 Aperture tokens. And if you were active on Menta New Paradigm or Renew Paradigm as well, you should get additional tokens on top. This token is currently trading at 5 cents per token. Then there is another airdrop where you can check your eligibility called Cresco if you were an active DeFi user on, for example, Ethereum, Arbitrum or Optimism. Not sure what the specific protocols or actions were, so you just want to paste in your wallet address here and check if you qualified for an allocation. For Cresco, the claim period will go on for another 24 days. Then I want to make you aware that there is another multiplier for Blast, so you want to definitely activate this one. The Blast airdrop will happen on the 26th of June, so roughly 3 weeks to go until we will be rewarded with some Blast token. So you want to scroll down, go to this GameFi airdrop and activate it through playing one of those mentioned games over there. Then just before I started the video, I found a tweet from Arkham, and they tell here there is still no second best Arkham. Maybe they are hinting towards the airdrop, which was quite lucrative for all that farmed for Arkham. Arkham is basically a research protocol where you can track wallets on chain. And Orderly answered here in this case, sent location, which I think was funny. And I want to use this post as a reminder because I'm farming for Orderly, and I think Orderly will be a very attractive airdrop, and this is very much underfarmed. You can see by the finished epochs, I just collected 157 merits as of right now, and I'm already rank 5,600, which is in the top 10%. With just a volume of 330k, and I really just started farming this last week. The current epoch also looks promising. I just traded a volume of 60,000, and my estimated merits for this epoch, which is still ongoing for another 6 days and 8 hours, will be at 434. Of course, this will be more diluted over time, but I'm trying to push volume here, especially on the protocols which are still tokenless. And there is one very attractive, and I'm not talking about LockX. I'm also using LockX. But there's one specifically, I don't want to dilute it, that's why I don't mention it in this video. It has decent funding, a very clean UI, so you might want to check those partner projects out to get an additional airdrop on top of the Orderly token. Next up on today's list is an airdrop that ended on the Mode network, which I mentioned in my Season 2 guide, which is Ironclad, a lending and borrowing platform on the network. And I'm of course still farming for Mode because the TVL is still very static since 2 or 3 weeks, so no more users are coming, or at least no fresh capital. And it's still very attractive to stake Mode tokens over here, which almost 54% APY, which gets distributed directly in Optimism tokens, so in blue chip yield, and it's single staking, so there's no impermanent loss. And you also get an additional boost on the Season 2 Mode airdrop, which will last until the beginning of September. And I allocated quite some capital for this now, also bought some Mode tokens to put them into the staking. And once I receive my yield in Optimism token, I will just bridge it from Optimism to Mode and then convert those optimism tokens into mode tokens to get an even higher compound interest effect. Last news which I wanted to mention is that Sanctum Season 1 is now over and Season 2 will happen at some time in the future, so it's not directly connected to the first season, so you can now swap your assets back into whatever assets you had before. And there is a very interesting statement from the founder here. First, of course, the airdrop will happen in the future in the upcoming few weeks. It will be the cloud token and it will be 10% of the overall supply for the first airdrop season. And interesting is what he is mentioning here, because he says it's hard for us to separate dumpers versus true believers. And he thinks the Drift airdrop was a very good example, because Drift users had the chance, if they waited 6 hours to claim the airdrop to get double of the allocation, they would probably do it a little bit different. So it would be a 7-day period or something. But they are definitely taking a lot of consideration here, which I like. So I read through this whole article, which is pretty interesting. And at least for me, it seems that the founder behind Sanctum here in this case wants to do things right. So distribute a very lucrative airdrop for most of the people. Of course, you can't make everyone happy here. Last two NFT mints which I wanted to show you in this video are regarding Base, the Base on-chain summer. So those are both three. You just want to mint the first one, and the second one is regarding the introduction of their smart wallet, which launched yesterday, which is a very big milestone. This is also a free one. You just want to pay transaction fees on the Base network to collect those items here, which are pretty big milestones in the history of Base and their whole process. That should do it on today's overview. If you have any questions, as always, drop them below this video. You will find all the necessary links in the description box. If you don't want to miss future videos, just hit the subscribe button. If you like today's one, hit the like button as well. And then we'll meet in the next one. See you then.